Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to do a huge transformation from this to this. I know, it's going to be fun. Let's go. First things first, I'm going to prep Jupiter with some water and K18 Molecular Repair Hair Mist. This is so huge for me. I use this on every single client. It is not an option. It is just built into my services. It really is going to help protect their hair through the lightening process. And the water first just helps open up the cuticle so that the K18 mist can penetrate into the hair. So today we are going to be taking Jupiter from a highlight to a full-on platinum to the root, but we are only going to be doing the mohawk panel and a little bit in the front of their face. So in the summertime, Jupiter sometimes will shave underneath. So we're just going to leave that dark for now. We may shave it off in the next couple months, but I'm going to show you here my favorite trick when I transition somebody from highlight to a full platinum. So I am staying a little off the root right now, but I am going to go back and hit the root later. But I'm taking a really thin section for my highlight, placing a clean foil down after I pick out all the dark pieces, and then hitting those and closing up the foil. I like to use that triple fold because it really locks it in. But I'll show you this from a few different angles, a few different times, so you can see how much easier this is. I know that a lot of people will pick the dark pieces out and then kind of smash them up into the lightener they've already placed, but that can get so messy. I feel like you're going to hit blonde hairs, you're going to see breakage, and this is just my personal favorite way of doing it. I honestly can't remember where I learned it, but I know I saw somebody do it years ago on Instagram, and it has just been my favorite way to foil ever since. Whenever I'm taking a client who is a highlight transitioning to a full platinum. So once again, you saw me pick out those dark pieces. I kind of go through and see if there's any little dark pieces I may have missed before on a previous highlight, put that new foil down, hit all those dark lowlights, and then we are just going to close up that foil and let it process. I just love how clean this is. It's so much easier than the big mess kind of jumbled on top of the foil. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. But I'll just give you a few angles here while I am picking out all those dark pieces. It's definitely a little tedious sometimes, but I promise you it is so worth it when you're trying to get rid of old highlights. So let's just address this now in case anybody thinks that it's going to look absolutely crazy only doing the mohawk. I promise it is going to look great. I myself only get a full highlight probably once a year and just get my partial done on top, and it works great. But especially when you're using fashion colors, and Jupiter has like black dipped bangs and black dipped ends. So this is all gonna come out super cohesive, especially with our bright rainbow roots. I am also using Danger Jones lightener. I like to start out with a 10 volume because I'm going to be mixing a couple different bowls as I make my way through their head. So if I start low with a 10 volume, then I know I'm gonna have about 3 bowls. I'll do 10 and then I'll mix 10 and 20 to make myself a 15, and then my final bowl will be a 20. So that's how I like to do it. That way I know that all of my foils are getting fresh new lightener. It's not a bunch of old lightener that's been sitting there forever. And then I'm also moving up my developer as I go so that they can kind of process together. And then the front has time to catch up with the back, and the back doesn't go as fast as the front. Lightening of any kind is such a delicate process, and you really do have to be so careful to maintain the integrity of your client's hair because, like I said, you do not want to put lightener on previously blonde hair because that is where you're going to see breakage. K18 is amazing, but it is not like a miracle spray that's going to stop anything like that from happening. If you're putting lightener straight onto platinum hair, I promise you it's going to break off, especially in a foil. It doesn't matter if you're using 10 volume, 7 volume, 30 volume. I personally will never purposefully put previously platinum hair inside of a foil with lightener. And that is why, once again, this is the greatest technique to have. I'm just gonna finish up one last foil and then we will move to the front and you'll get to see one of my other favorite hacks when it comes to doing the hairline. But I'm just gonna pick out those dark pieces as usual, paint anything that I see underneath, pick out any dark pieces, and then lay that foil down on top of it so I can hit those dark lowlights. And I actually forgot to show when I hit her roots, but I did go back and do those, which I will talk about. So this hack right here, that is a perm paper. That is not a foil. Whenever you're doing a perm and you have to do the little papers with the rollers, that is a perm paper. I love using those on the hairline because that hair lifts so easily. It doesn't need the added heat of a foil. Otherwise, you could risk over processing, but this is my absolute favorite hack for hairline and sometimes even platinum retouches. Instead of using cotton, I like to use perm papers. Now that we've moved a couple pieces in, I'm gonna do a couple foils here just to get the front of their face. We're gonna leave those raccoon tails, and then her dark root kind of blends in with it anyway, so it works out for us. Here is our finished foil. Amazing, only the mohawk in front. And now we are gonna move to mixing up our rainbow colors. I'm using All Danger Jones, of course. For my yellow, I mixed Star Rider with Ray Gun. My orange is Burnout with a little Ray Gun added. Pink, I used Hustler and Lovesick. Purple, I wound up mixing Hustler, Lovesick, and added some Solitude, which is a dark blue. For my blue, I mixed Vertigo and Oblivion. And then for my green, we've got Adrenaline with a little bit of Oblivion. So another trick that I do is you can use clear or you can add conditioner. So the blue is usually pretty pigmented and dark, and I want to have a bright neon feel. So I'm adding some deep conditioner into my blue and also into my purple because I don't want it to be too dark and overwhelming. I want it to match in with the neon vibe. Not so much a pastel, but just that neon. Now I'm going to add some B3 Brazilian Bond Builder into all of my colors. This is going to help with color longevity and the strength of my client's hair. And another favorite product of mine that no, I did not get paid to say this, and no, I didn't even get them for free. These are my Framar Bleach Blender Gloves. They are amazing. Every time I do a foil pull, I use these and it really helps get all that lightener off. I did not show you when I tapped her roots, but as you can see, they are super platinum and ready to go. I'm gonna get that K-Teen mask in there to keep them nice and healthy. Did a quick blast dry and we are on to our colors. So I am doing pink at their base and then melting into a different color. So I started with orange. Then my next inch-long horizontal section, I melted into yellow. Then I've got pink again at the base on the next section. Now we're gonna go with green. So you can see I'm moving in that rainbow pattern, orange, yellow, green. I did ask my client, even though they give me pretty free range, if there was any color they didn't want to see a lot of, and they said blue. So I skipped blue on the ends and we went straight for purple. Even if somebody's giving me free range, I always want to make sure that I'm not giving them something that they're not going to like or a color that they're sick of. In Jupiter's case, they had some blue for a while that did not want to come out. So I think they want to stay away from getting a ton of blue. But on that last section, I just did the pink all the way through the ends. And then we are going to move to the front. I sectioned off the raccoon tail because I'm going to come back to that one. But I'm doing the same melt here that I did in the back. I did a pink into orange first, then we had pink into yellow. The third one is going to be pink into, that's right, green, you got it. Pink into green. And then we'll finish off with a pink into purple. Moving on to our raccoon tail in the front, I always like to use mesh sheets if I'm going to be doing sections where I'm placing them directly on top of each other. They are just really sturdy. You get like a better grip than you would with a foil, and I just feel like they come really in handy for projects like this or rainbow prisms. I'm going to use a comb to get it really nice and flat so I can get that design perfectly. And then I'm going in with my pink, and then the black that I'm using is straight Dopamine from Danger Jones. I previously colored their hair with a permanent black color, so I'm just kind of freshening it up with the Dopamine instead of doing a whole nother round of permanent. But that was their choice. I did not just put permanent black color on their platinum blonde hair on my own accord. They asked for it, just to clarify. But I'm gonna go through and do my Dopamine, and you can see I like to twist my brush and kind of do it sideways after I get everything in, and that really helps blend it. You'll see it in the next section, but I'm just gonna paint everything down. There's that sideways. That really helps blend it all together so you don't get any harsh lines. And I didn't really worry about the black on the top because they have their natural base there, so it's going to blend, and it's also going to be hidden by the rainbow. So we're just worrying about our raccoon tail right here. But I'm getting all those colors blended in, and then we will move to the other side. And I can't wait to show you the front. These rainbow roots are going to be so much fun. Jupiter always lets me do kind of whatever I want. They'll give me like a base of what they're thinking. Sometimes they won't even have that, but I always have so much fun just kind of running with whatever crazy idea we get. And this time we actually thought of the rainbow roots while I had the foils in their hair. So when I started recording this tutorial, I didn't even know what we were doing, but I started doing that mohawk panel and I was like, oh, we should do rainbow roots. And so that is how this video was born. I just think that's the most fun part about being a hairstylist, is sometimes we don't even know where we're going with it, but we'll figure it out. So now that we've moved to the top, you can see that first section that I did was purple, blue, green, yellow. Now I'm taking about 1/2 inch thick, just horizontal sections across the mohawk panel, and I'm making my way through the rainbow. So since I started with purple on the last one, this section I went pink and then purple, blue, green. You can see they still have those permanent black tips on their ends too. I wasn't too worried about refreshing those because they still looked really good. But now we're gonna move to our next section, going orange, pink, purple, blue. But I'm gonna show you as I go through, just in case it doesn't make sense, but I'm just following that Roy G. Biv rainbow pattern all the way through their mohawk panel. So since I started with orange last time, now we are gonna move to yellow. Then melting into the yellow is gonna be our orange because that was our top color on the previous section. Then it's going to be pink, and then it's going to be purple. So I am just gonna follow this pattern all through their mohawk, and it's gonna give us that really cool rainbow root and then gradient rainbow melt through their hair. So now that we did yellow on the last section, this one is going to be green. And you can see it's about 1/2 inch thick. It's not all recorded because I didn't think we, would need a 2-hour video of painting rainbows. But whenever I'm doing a section like this, I'll usually stick my brush in the middle of it to separate it, just to make sure that the entire section is really saturated. And I am very careful when I'm painting my color next to the blonde hair that's in front of it that I haven't touched yet. But as far as the hair goes that's underneath it, like the green section that's under my blue section, I am not worried about that color touching the green. It is not going to bleed onto it. Semi-permanent colors, especially Danger Jones, as soon as you touch the color to the hair, it's going to encapsulate. So you don't have to worry about laying this down on the next section and the purple bleeding onto the blue or the blue bleeding onto the green. It's not going to happen. So now that I've moved forward, I'm doing a purple into blue, into green, into yellow. I think you guys get the hang of it, but I will keep showing my pattern. Look at how cool it's already looking. Oh, no matter how many times I do rainbows, I just love it every single time. You can see we are now approaching the area of Jupiter's hair where it is their fringe. So this is the last section that I'm gonna do in the back, and I'm gonna move everything forward using these little plastic things called bangers, and it protects the face so that you can paint on top of it. It is another amazing Framar invention. You guys, sponsor me already. Come on. No, but I'm taking those sections forward, and I kind of measured out where pink was my last one, and then I knew I was going to have orange, yellow, green. So I just started with the green since I moved to the front of the face, did green into yellow, and now I am doing those tips with the straight dopamine, which is the black semi-permanent from Danger Jones. Now I'm taking my next section, which is yellow, and that is going to go directly on top of the green one and painting some orange in the middle. And then I wanted to lay it down first and get those ends really nice. And then I am going to go back and hit that orange again. But I just want to make sure this is going to be really straight because the fringe is really important. That's not something that you can just kind of slap the color on. You really have to make sure that it's going to fall exactly where you want it to fall. And I'm just kind of painting that orange right on top of the previous section because, like I said, I don't have to worry about that color getting onto the previously colored hair under it. It is already encapsulated. I can paint it right on top and it's totally fine. But I'm going to take my last section, which is orange, kind of brush that down a little bit, add some pink there in the mid shafts, and we are almost done with this color. So I'm just taking really tiny sections, making sure that I blend that pink in the mid shaft and laying it down onto that plastic bang protector. And now I'm going to color my black tips on, and we are pretty much done, you guys. Just making sure I get that really nice blend, and look at how cool that looks. I am so excited to show you guys this dried. So another thing I love about Danger Jones is it rinses clear. It's literally magic, but you can see I am rinsing it with ice cold water, and that is just a clear rinse. I mean, I've got black, green, purple, yellow, everything, and it's clear. Here is our finished product. Look at how cool that looks. Oh, there is just nothing more satisfying than combing through wet rainbow hair. Oh, and there's our raccoon tail. Let's see this from one more angle. And now we got to dry it. So here is just a nice straight blow dry, just so you can see how beautiful and vivid that color melt is. I am so obsessed with it. And now we are going to style it. And here is our finished product. Oh, I love rainbow hair. I also forgot to mention I used the Leaf and Flower 7-minute blowout, Frizz Remedy spray, and the K18 molecular repair hair oil for heat protection and styling products. And look at that shine. Oh, I'm obsessed with the little raccoon tails, with the rainbow gradient. Everything is so cute. There's so much happening, but it's so cohesive at the same time. And here are a few of my favorite pictures. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.